Hi folks, this is Asobi, and today. So back in 2020, Atlas and Vanillaware teamed up to release the sci-fi thriller 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which actually ended up as one of my picks for the best video games of that year. In fact, I think I picked it as number 7. Yeah, so pretty high up in my personal list. Anyway, fast forward to today and the game is getting new life, not just at home but also on the go, as it gets a release on the Nintendo Switch. Now in terms of content, the game is essentially the same as the original version that was released on PS4, so my thoughts from my original 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim review still stands. In fact, if you want to check that out, I'll put a link on the upper corner. Instead, my focus for this article is how the game holds up on the Nintendo Switch. It's no secret after all that the Switch isn't quite as powerful when compared to its console competitors, so ports to the system can be a mixed bag. As such, it's understandable for some folks to have concerns about how this version performs. Yeah, so how does 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim perform on the Nintendo Switch versus the PS4? The answer is quite well, actually. In fact, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim on the Nintendo Switch loads faster than it does on the PS4, though still not quite as fast as it does on the PS5. No surprise given how much powerful that system is. Anyway, this is good news for folks who are debating whether to get the game for Switch or PlayStation, or even fans of the game who want to double dip and get the game again so they can play it on the go. Speaking of playing the game on the go, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim runs like a champ on the Switch in portable mode as well. In fact, I play the game mostly undocked, and it does a great job of hitting that buttery 60 frames per second. I mean, this really shouldn't be a surprise given how the game was never really a graphically intensive title to begin with. Then again, I've also seen my fair share of ports, including console to PC conversions, of games that weren't exactly visually taxing, but then end up running like butt. B-U-T-T, butt. Anyway, performance is especially good for adventure sequences, which feature Vanillaware's trademark dreamy art style. Now, you might notice some signs of compression on a bigger TV, but you really have to look to notice it. And then that issue is pretty much non-existent when playing in handheld mode, which basically uses the smaller screen of the Switch. Now, I don't have the OLED Switch, so I was using an OG Switch, and it looks pretty good. Battles also run pretty smoothly for the most part. In rare cases, there might be some frame rate dips when you have a ton of enemies and explosions going on, but to be fair, that was also an issue for the PlayStation version of the game. Though I don't know if it's just me, but it does seem like the Switch version dials down some of the visual effects during battle, which might be how it manages to make combat go pretty smoothly overall. In fact, about the only gripe I have is that nothing new was added for the Switch port in terms of content. I mean, it would have been nice if some fresh stuff was added, especially for folks who already played the original version of the game, just to sweeten the pot, so to speak. Then again, even folks who already played the PlayStation version would still benefit from getting the Switch version for one reason, and that would be the ability to play the game in handheld mode, which is pretty much one of the reasons you usually want to get a Switch version for a game. Yeah, so this game is just perfect for playing on the go, and there's just something about it that feels right when you're enjoying it while commuting or traveling on a long trip. The game also sounds great, by the way, so you can just connect a quality pair of headphones and then tuck in somewhere in your own little world, and then just immerse yourself in all the sci-fi intrigue and explosive tactical RPG combat that the game has to offer. Anyway, so what are my final thoughts on the game? Well, basically, the Switch version of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is an example of a port done right. The game runs pretty smoothly, with none of the janky glitches that plague some ports, and it also remains as fun as it was on the PS4. The ability to play it on the go is literally a game changer, as 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim lends itself pretty well for a handheld game, so this actually gives folks who already played it before another reason to enjoy the game as well. Yeah, so if you missed the original version or just want a double dip so you can play it on the go, the Switch version is an excellent rendition of the game. As always, if you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Once again, this is Asobi, and thank you for watching.
騎兵を呼んだのか。なんだ。少し形が違う。